Hey, what's going on, man? We are back here with another episode 85, 85 in the Breakroom podcast, man. So if you don't know, tap in and thank you for being in here with us. A whole lot of the good things been going on. Good, bad, exciting, kind of not so exciting. And what I mean by that is, if you know about me, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you know that I'm an anime guy. So I've been catching up on One Piece, watching some JJK. Also, man, I even Netflix. Bridgerton's back on. Stranger Things are back on. It's a lot. Matter of fact, it's a lot of good things. And also for sports people, for the two of the main sports right now, football and basketball, we're in a really sweet spot. Super Bowl's coming up. Trade deadline's about to happen. A lot of good action going on right now, man. My time is full. I almost didn't get to this recording when I wanted to. And I think somebody's getting snubbed this season if you're a Bridgerton fan. Only Bridgerton fans are going to know that. Only Bridgerton people who watching that are going to know what I mean when I say somebody's going to get snubbed this season. But rolling with that, speaking of snubbed, right? Obviously, you all heard about the news. We've all heard about the news of Bill Belichick not getting into the NFL Coaches Hall of Fame, right? And just kind of run off some quick stats to you, like we don't know them, but Bill Belichick has 8 Super Bowls. Moment of silence. Yes, 8. 8. 6 as a head coach and 2 as a DC back with the Giants, right? And so, with that being said, he has a lot more, and let's even back off the wins. He has a lot more appearances than a lot of coaches in the league. And for him not getting in at first glance, I was baffled. I was shocked. I was stunned just like everybody else. I had no idea. I was like, is this, do people hate him? Is there, uh, did he say something wrong to somebody? Did he fight somebody in the back alley? Was there something there? Is he dating somebody's little cousin? Like, is that it? But whatever the case may be, he's not in. And the thing that troubled me about this was not necessarily just him not getting in initially, of course, right? But also it was the conversation that was coming up surrounding that. So obviously, I just said, Bill Belichick's a great coach. And even with the scandals, I still think he should have been in. Obviously, the scandals, we all know them. Deflategate, Spygate, right? Namely, Spygate. It was the biggest one. Because obviously they had an undefeated record. They went into the Super Bowl 16-0, ended up losing that year. And people are saying, or I've heard people say, just in conversations I've had with others, and I've obviously consuming a lot of media, a lot of articles and things like that. People are bringing up the fact that, well, he paid the fine for these, and that should just be it, right? Or he did his time with that. He spoke on this. That should just be it. We shouldn't be able to pick and choose what things we want to bring up and what things we're going to use against him. I'm going to address that point in just a second. First, the other thing was brought up along with the voters, at least. You can see how people were saying this or doing this, automatically assuming he's going to get in, right? First ballot guy, obviously, he's done more than a lot of coaches combined with multiple careers. He's done that. He's literally that successful. If you're a casual fan of football, or if you're not so casual, if you're not really that big of a fan, he's that big of a name in football. You can't tell the story of the NFL without mentioning a Bill Belichick. You just can't. Some fortunately, some unfortunately. So you can't mention him. You can't mention the league without mentioning him. So with that being said, I get it. I get it. People are probably thinking in the voting room of, okay, yeah, I know Bill's going to get in, so let me turn my attention to a lesser guy. And by lesser guy, these are all Hall of Fame. They're all on the ballot to be in the Hall of Fame, right? But lesser in the sense of lesser than Bill Belichick, because like I said, he's just that big. He's just that big of a guy in the NFL. He has that much stature to him. And so they turn their attention like, oh, I know everybody's going to vote for him. I know everybody's going to vote for him on that end. So let me put my attention towards a guy who might need a little help getting over the edge. Like he's good enough to get in, but he might need a 1 or 2 votes there, right? You can see how people are thinking that. And they're probably thinking that, trying to be compassionate, probably trying to overthink and trying to be considerate of or mindful of the gravity that Bill Belichick commands, right? Like I said, he's just that big of a name. He's done that much in the league. So they're probably thinking that there's kind of really no excuse it should have happened. Sure, you can make that argument because it's kind of it's that wild. It's that crazy. It's that crazy that he didn't get in. But even with that, even with him not getting in, or even with people trying to vote for other people instead of him, right? Or the other thing that I said I was going to bring back to your attention was Bill Belichick is an immortal coach, and he's cemented into the NFL. Even if Bill Belichick never gets into the Hall of Fame, I'm trying to drive this home. If Bill Belichick never even makes it into the Hall of Fame, he will still be remembered more than other coaches who are in the Hall of Fame. He's literally that big. He's that kind of guy. He's that big of a coach. He commands that much attention. You cannot tell the story of the NFL without mentioning a Bill Belichick. You just can't. You just cannot. Not wanting to support him or like go against the grain. Let's say some of these voters there, you know, right, who had to vote, go against the grain, right? I'm not going to vote for Bill Belichick. Everybody's going to vote for Bill Belichick, you know? I'm going to vote for this guy. I'm going to vote for that guy. The picture I want to illustrate to you is there was a time, maybe like a few years ago, I was speaking to a friend and she said, well, I think the conversation was, yeah, if you can go to any concert, right? Anybody, dead or alive, who would you go to? And I said, Michael Jackson. You're like, okay, that's generic, but like anybody else? I'm like, sure, there are a bunch of other people, but it's Michael Jackson. Why wouldn't I? If he's on the table, why would I choose anybody else? Literally, just why? And if you're sitting here listening to me saying like, did he just compare Michael Jackson to Bill Belichick or Bill Belichick to Michael Jackson? Absolutely. There were conversations about changing the Lombardi Trophy to the Belichick Trophy. He's that big of a name. Like, I need to drive that home. He's that big. He's done that much. Okay. I said it like 5 times. I hope you get it now. So yes, why wouldn't I? I want people to really understand that it is okay to follow the line. It is okay to follow the line. It's okay to think like everybody else. Just because you're in groupthink doesn't mean you're thinking wrong. Okay. I hate when people want to be the adversary to anything, just to something, right? You just want to go against something. 2 plus 2 equals 4. That's a consensus. That's a fact, right? That's like me coming out of nowhere and saying that I know you're all saying 2 plus 2 equals 4, but I'm gonna write 5. Come on now. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? We're hustling backwards. What are we doing? That's how odd it was when people were not voting for Bill Belichick. Further illustration. I brought up Spygate. I brought up Deflategate. Right? Obviously, those are not reasons why he would be voted in, but these are things that are probably counted against him. Voters brought it up in conversation. It is a thing that happened. Can't act like it's not. And I mentioned that he's immortal, right? What does immortal mean? Lives forever, doesn't die, non-decaying, does not decay. The thing about that is the Super Bowl. Let's just think about the Super Bowl in general, right? What is it? It's the game that culminates the NFL season where the two best teams play each other to be the NFL champion, right? To be the NFL, the National Football League champion. The process of this is let's just illustrate everything, okay? Football is a game that has been played for years, right? Kids have played it. They've matriculated through school and played it five from 5 years old. I think that's kindergarten, I think, all the way up to high school, 12th grade, 18 years old. Even with that, they go further than that and play in college. Okay, we go further. We're in college now, so 19 to 22. That's like the standard 4 year. If you went longer, you're older than that. 19, let's say 24, 25, or it's a little far. 24. Cool. Okay. These people have still been playing football. Remember, these same people might have also played since they were 5. Those people that played in college have either tried to go to the league, to the NFL, and did not go. So they went to play for another football league or whatever. There's a bunch of them, semi-pro, some in other countries, et cetera, right? These people have either played and could not continue into the NFL for whatever reason. Some of these people became coaches in order to stay involved in football because they could no longer play. Some of these guys tried to become coaches and did not make the cut, okay? Some of these people, some of these guys became coaches and got fired for whatever reason. Some of these coaches got in, coached, and retired due to lack of success, or were fired due to lack of success, or were actually successful and still never made a Super Bowl. Some of these coaches who were fired, or some of these coaches who were coaching who never made a Super Bowl, were also playing back when they were 5. Also played in elementary, also played in middle school, also played in high school, also played in college, or they've been coaching since however old they were, volunteered with these little league teams, coached at these middle school teams, coached at these high school teams, coached with these college teams. I went the long route. But what I needed to explain to you was there is a long, very, very long road into becoming an NFL coach. Doesn't just take skill, it takes you have to be a student of the game. You have to learn a lot, study under a lot of people. You got to take a lot of stuff. I've been in some coaches' rooms, man. Coaches talk crazy to each other. And even with all that, even with all that sacrifice, even with all that time dedicated, it does not guarantee you a chance to play in an NFL game, to coach a NFL game, to play in an NFL playoff, to play in an NFL division championship. It does not guarantee you any of that. And it definitely does not guarantee you a Super Bowl appearance nor victory. It guarantees you none of it. Playing since you're 5, all the way to, it guarantees you none of that. Now that I've took that long road of the illustration, what if I told you that your opponent who you went against was stealing your signs? What if I told you that the opponent that you were playing against stole your calls and they beat you? That's if you have another year. That's player or coach. That's or assistant. Whatever you are involved. You're in the door, you don't know how long you're going to be there. Somebody cheated and took it from you. Now, if you're thinking, oh man, we're just looking at it from the victim route. Okay, let's look at it from the other route. All right. Other side. Did Belichick play to find? The Patriots pay to find, you know. The consequences were administered. They were administered and they took the consequence to the chin. Bill Belichick went on, I think it was CBS, if I remember, had a whole talk with the news. It gave his whole spiel, and that was that, right? Some people say that consequences shouldn't follow you, right? Once you pay them, that should just be what they are. While that is true for in many cases of consequences, in many cases, we're talking about the Super Bowl. We're talking about immortality here. We're talking about something that's going to last long past your lifetime. We're talking about something that's going to be in a history book somewhere. We're talking about something that many people, hundreds upon thousands upon millions of people have tried, or not only tried, are currently trying and will try to obtain. Many are going to do it clean. Many are going to cheat. And none of that guarantees you success. None of it. Some would say one just offers you a better chance than the other. Some would say, well, if it doesn't guarantee you anything, then why are we even tripping? There are set rules. Come on, don't be an idiot. Like, there are set rules for fair play and for fair competition. And we won't have to go down that list. Okay? There was an old saying, right? My grandpa had an old saying, or just a saying, I guess. He said, you know, You can do something that takes you 5 minutes to get into, but takes you a lifetime to get out of. One mistake can take you 5 minutes to get in, but a lifetime to get out of. Now, with Bill Belichick, bringing it all full circle. Bill Belichick is at the door of being was at the door of being inducted into the football NFL Coach Hall of Fame. He was not. We list the first reason of people trying to be considerate of other people, thinking he was a shoe in to win, thinking, it's not a big deal. Well, wait, I know he's going to get it, so let me look for other people. Let me do that. And but just trying to operate in some free think. I'm not going to vote for Bill. Everybody's going to vote for Bill, so let me look for another guy. Regardless of what the thinking was, they just didn't vote for him. Other people? Well, he did have Spygate. Well, there was Deflategate. The thing about consequences is, and this is just a thought. The thing about consequences, they come without warning. That's an old school lesson. I know a lot of people are not going to feel that one, but that's an old school lesson. You try to be in the right all the time because when you're in the wrong, you never know how that's going to return to you. You never know. You never know how fast it's going to come back or how late it's going to come back or the intensity it's going to come back with. You never know. So because you can't control these things, it's always best to stay in the right. It just makes good sense. Let's just try to do things the right way because you can't control getting discovered, getting caught, or how people are going to feel about what you did, how it's going to impact them, and how it's going to come back. You can't control any of it, and none of it you can see. With all that being said, I still think he should have been inducted. I still think so. But can I say that it's so far-fetched that people didn't feel like that? Not necessarily. We talked about the full process, what it takes to get there. Being an NFL coach is something that somebody's in a church somewhere praying about. Winning a game in the NFL is something they are gathered at their grandmother's house in a prayer circle trying to get a win. Like, and you, a person, were involved in the cheating thing. Granted, you paid a fine. There were a whole lot of times that you didn't need that to win. But times you didn't need it. But this particular season, this particular time, and I don't like speculation saying, oh, we don't know how long this was going on, or anything like that. Whatever. That's an unfair thing. For that particular season, you chose to. And so the consequences were not justified. The consequences affected everybody who witnessed it, who found out about it. They think you're undeserving. Hey. And so it all just comes down to, do you think people should overreact to that thing? Do you think people overreacted? Do you think that voters shouldn't took that into consideration? We talked about the process of becoming an NFL coach. People have, like I said, people have been playing football since they were kids. People went to middle school and played. People went to high school and played. People went to college and played. People went to other schools, bounced around, moved families. Then some people have destroyed their families trying to coach. Some people have missed their kids' games trying to coach. Some people have lost their livelihood losing to this coach a number of times. Lives were altered. And at the end of the day, their lives are altered in this one season, possibly, due to child stealing. That's all. You just cheated the system. These people are still paying a price for those things. Are we saying all these things are we saying it's an apples to apples things that one thing just equals another? No. No, that's completely unfair. But is it another straw in the haystack? Possibly. Possibly. Just food for thought. Even with that, not trying to demonize the guy, not trying to demonize Bill Belichick. I've never met him. Still amazing coach. Still, I believe he should have been in. But at the same time, to say that consequences shouldn't carry over to not when we talk about things that last forever. Not there. Not there. I can't go that far. So was he snubbed? I could say so. But we can also say, was he really though? Was he really? Will he get in eventually? Absolutely. I don't think anybody that has a doubt in their mind that he won't be in the NFL Hall of Fame, Coach Hall of Fame. But was he snubbed? A lot of things to consider. So that was somewhat exciting. It was an interesting conversation. And even thinking about other exciting things, obviously the Super Bowl is coming up. And if you listen to the last episode, I said that I was picking the Patriots to win. If the Seahawks made it, I was picking the Patriots to win. And I have to, oh my goodness, I have to retract that. I have to go back and watch some other games. I'm gonna be the billionth person to ever podcast or talk about sports to say I hate streaming, and I hate it so much because I'm not able to catch every single game I didn't get the NFL pass. I just didn't. I just wasn't. Because once the season's over, I'm done with that. Like, I'm not gonna keep I just wasn't. So I wasn't able to catch all the Seahawks games. But hey, highlight clips, YouTube is amazing. Got to it. Was able to see a lot of things. Sam Darnold got to see him in action, got to see the defense in action. And my goodness. My goodness. Also, even the playoff run. I'm not astounded. I'm not, even though Drake May is probably the favorite for the MVP, I'm just not a huge believer. I'm not. I'm not. Granted, they ran the gauntlet when it comes to going against NFL defenses. They ran the gauntlet. But it's just not, man. The Seahawks top to bottom have just they're stacked. They're just stacked. There's nothing really more to say about it. Initially, I was thinking that the fits and how they will match up against each other. Defense, when it comes to yards allowed in the air, I think the Seahawks are behind the Patriots maybe by like 80 something yards. But thing is, and they had more attempts. People tried to pass more against them, and they gave up only 80 yards more than the Patriots in the regular season. Insane. Rushing, they allowed fewer. They had more passing yards. They beat them in almost every statistical category, and the ones they don't, you have to look at their corresponding categories. Like I said, passing yards and pass. They gave up more passing yards than the Patriots. Just a few, but had almost like 100 more attempts that were made against them. And that's just one. That's just one. You can dig it up, dig it up yourself. But yeah, I'm not saying this is gonna be a wash. I'm not gonna say that at all. But I definitely had the Seahawks, and I think I have them going up by at least 2 touchdowns. I don't think it's gonna be. I think it'll be a good game. But the pool, the talent level, the poise, no, we're going with the Seahawks for this one. So while I think it'll be a good game, I don't think it's gonna be just stellarly exciting because it's a whole lot of things I thought would be exciting that really aren't right now at the time. That's why I think I struggled in the beginning. I was like, some things are going on, got some good shows out now, and they're pretty cool. But even with the sports, we're in an exciting time, but it's an exciting time, but things aren't getting the normal things that got me excited aren't exciting me. Like the matchup for the Super Bowl, I'm not excited about this. I think it's gonna be cool, but it's not, oh my goodness, number one offense, number one defense. It's not that. One has the number one offense and number one defense. One has a great defense and lower offense. Even with that, other things that aren't exciting that should be exciting, the NBA trade deadline. February 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know that, that's the NBA trade deadline. You have a few guys who are up that a lot of these people we don't really even think of going anywhere, but just so I can read them off to you, man. LeBron, his contract ends this year. You got Bradley Beal, his contract ends this coming year, or this coming season. Zach LaVine's a player option. AD, another player option, not exciting. Jimmy Butler last year on his contract, not exciting. Ja Morant has another player option coming up next year. None of these people are exciting me. I'll give you this comparison. If you have a Netflix account, or if you share a Netflix account, I don't know your house, but if you and I know, okay. There is a show, and I mentioned it earlier, but Bridgerton. Bridgerton is in season 4. It's a really good show. I kind of got sucked into it. I'm not ashamed. I'll say it. Bridgerton is a great show. It's a great show. But let me tell you something. As excited I am as when every episode comes on, it means nothing if one phrase isn't said. I don't care if this one phrase isn't said, I almost feel like I didn't even watch the show. What do I mean by that? What is that special thing that needs to be said in this show that really brings it all together? Dearest gentle reader. I know Penelope is Lady Whistledown. I know that already, but if I don't hear that phrase, I feel like I didn't even watch the show. It's kind of null and void. It means nothing to me. Giannis is possibly on the trade block. If Giannis' name does not get traded, this trade deadline means nothing to me. It means absolutely nothing. It was a complete waste of my time to even bring it up to anybody's attention. Dearest gentle reader, if I don't hear that, I did not watch the show. If Lady Whistledown does not make an appearance on this paper, I don't even care about Penelope anymore. I really don't. I know they're the same, but I need to hear Lady Whistledown. I need to hear Dearest Gentle Reader. I need to hear Giannis's name on the trade block. I need to hear him that move to another team, wherever it might be. But if I don't hear his name getting traded, this was a waste of my time and it was a waste of my energy, and I really couldn't care less. Here's the rant. Oh, I had to get that off. I had to get that off. Man. If Giannis doesn't move, everybody else, the league right now is so balanced yet top heavy. All right. Obviously, you have the best teams, right? You got the OKC, you got the Spurs in the West, right? You got Detroit, who's the top in the East, but top in the West is Thunder, and the Nuggets. Obviously, the Spurs are in third, but you got the Pistons and the Knicks top in the East. Celtics are third. Those aren't really changing. We know that. We know that already. And if Giannis's name doesn't move to any of these teams, it's all a waste, because I don't think any of the other guys I named are moving. And those are some of the better guys. And even with that, two of the guys I mentioned are hurt. AD and so there's only one name to really even stick with. We don't think LeBron's moving. If he does, he'll go to Cleveland for 1 year and then he'll retire, I'm pretty sure. And he better stop pump faking. I'm kind of tired of that. So even with that, it's if Giannis needs to be mentioned. If he's not, it's a waste. Let's go ahead and just move forward past the season. I don't want to hear any other headlines about any other player, because frankly, they really can't do too much for these teams. The top teams in the league are the top. They're like very dominantly on top. It's not even something that one piece can put another team over them. The only teams that can probably knock some of these other teams off are injuries. And obviously we don't wish that upon anybody. But for that, it's like, nobody's gonna wait up for that. So we just let's go and wrap this period up, because the things that were exciting me are no longer exciting me they are not really exciting me right now. It's very singular. I need this one thing to happen. And with that one thing, man, hey, that's been our episode, man. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Breakroom Podcast, episode 85. Thanks for being here with us, man. So you can follow us on Facebook at the Breakroom Podcast 7, and also you can follow us on Instagram at the Breakroom Podcast, the.breakroom.podcast, and X at the Breakroom HOU. So man, that's been all, man. Y'all take it easy, man. Be safe. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the trade deadline coming up. Enjoy it all, man. We'll see you next time.